to my live stream. Welcome back to WWE Saturday Night Main Event 2025. This is Jacob Cast 2024. Hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. And enjoy this video. This is Jacob Cast 2024. This video is sponsored by Jade from New York, someone wants to sound off, fight for pro wrestling, and other podcasters and YouTubers that I know of. I got more on the way, so hit that like button. So I'm making it very, very late. I'll make it like an hour and 10 minutes, or an hour and 5 minutes. I don't make it too long. This is a very short show, only 4 matches on the show. We're gonna talk about Saturday Night Main Event. The show was fine. It was decent, but I thought the matches were okay. Besides the main event, once again, Triple H and Creative played it safe. Alright, here are the matches. The main event with Punk and Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre open the show. We have a new women's champion, Jade Cargill, beat Tiffany Stratton. And then Dominic Mysterio retains against Penta and Rusev. Obviously, Penta and Rusev is not on the game, but had used Ray and Ivar. But Dominic did retain. I thought the first 3 matches were fine. During Dominic retained, Dominic comes up with another creativity to retain his IC title. Penta and Rusev are losers once again. Hopefully they can move on, and that's it. Jade Cargill had won the new women's champion. She pretty much squashed Tiffany Stratton. She dominated. That's how you book her as a heel. Cody Rhodes. Yes. Cody Rhodes beat Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre once again a loser. Hopefully they move on and don't bother giving him no more rematches. But Drew McIntyre is a loser. He lost again. There was no interference. No one got involved in these 2 matches. CM Punk is world champion once again. He's now a 7-time world champion. Yeah. The show was 2 hours. They did announce that there will be a tournament, 16-man tournament, to decide who will face John Cena in his last match on December 13 in Washington, D.C. Yeah. So, alright. Might will show you all the other podcasters. Now, there are some news and rumors here that I wanted to show y'all. We did see Ricky Saints and Jade, Cody, and Punk. All 4 guys in AEW. All 4 of them are not champion. We could see Ricky Saints. Well, since he's still on NXT, he's not going to get called up. I don't know we're going to see over for me. Now, that was AEW Fight Night 1 hour ago. I'm going to put on Collision. A new era. All 4 guys in AEW. Punk, Jade, Ricky Saints, Cody Rhodes. They're all champions in WWE. Alright. There's not much news or rumors here. I might will show some of the podcasters and the YouTubers here. Alright. Might will show Jade from New York. Oh, anyway. I actually want to show Psalm up there first. Alright, hold on.
Tonight, WWE was in Utah for Saturday night's main event, the second to last one this year. We have one more to go, and that will be John Cena's retirement match. That's coming up in DC on December 13th. And tonight, we actually got some news in regards to John Cena's retirement match. They are indeed going to be having a tournament that is going to be playing out and taking place over the next several weeks. A 16-man bracket to determine who will get to call themselves the last man to ever set foot in the ring against John Cena. And that is going to be commencing a week from tomorrow. Well, actually, not tomorrow, from Monday. I still think of these shows as Sunday night shows. But a week from Monday in Boston, this tournament will kick off. And we will find out at that point who that person is going to be. And we heard from John Cena tonight. He wasn't there live. But he did mention, and actually he was not the only one who wasn't there live in Salt Lake City. Evidently, Triple H couldn't be bothered to be at the show tonight either, so he was not there. But John Cena did say something very interesting in the video package that they aired, which was there are going to be men in this tournament, not only from Raw, not only from SmackDown, not only from NXT, but from faraway lands that are unrelated to WWE. There could be men in this tournament who don't even work for WWE. And of course, you can imagine what some people are thinking and the names that are going through their heads right now, setting themselves up, I'm sure, for disappointment. So it was newsworthy to get that information, and I'm going to talk more about this.
Hold on a second. Oh, God damn it, man. I hate the goddamn connection. It gets on my goddamn nerves. Something wrong with the damn internet. Hold on. I'm trying to show you all the other podcasters. Alright, here we go. See if I can go back to this. Why is this so goddamn slow, man? Jeez.
More about this tournament and what Cena had to say. But the big takeaway outside of that, the big news coming out of the show, stem from the main event, which was CM Punk and Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. So anybody who still had any lingering doubts as to the legitimacy of the injury to Seth Rollins, you need not worry anymore. I don't know why people still would have thought that it was a work. At this point, it's pretty obvious. I mean, once they took the championship off of him, it ain't a work. But there were some people who still had lingering doubts. So Seth Rollins gets hurt. It ruins their plans. It was going to be CM Punk and Seth Rollins tonight for the World Heavyweight Championship. And CM Punk would not have left Salt Lake City tonight as the World Heavyweight Champion if that match had taken place. I think we're in a very different universe right now. Had Seth not gotten hurt, I think these reports of Austin Theory joining the Vision, I think a lot of these things would have played out and it would have fed into a War Games match at Survivor Series. None of that happened tonight. So the question was, would we actually have a new world champion crowned? Or were we going to have the Bronze run in and ruin the festivities? Were they going to drag this out a little bit longer? Was Jimmy Uso going to get involved? One of the Usos, were they going to go heel in this match? Was Jimmy going to cost Jay? Was Jay going to turn on Punk when the match was over, right? All of these questions about what might possibly happen here in this match. And I came into this show thinking, you know, I really don't want either one of these guys to leave tonight as the World Heavyweight Champion. And I would love for them to find a way to drag this out because Survivor Series is so close. Survivor Series is coming up, and you could play this thing out, you could do a tournament. the minute they announced this John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament, which is what they're calling it, I knew at that point, like, the chances of that were just nil. Like, it wasn't happening, right? Because they don't want to run tournaments concurrently at the same time like that. Unless it's like King and Queen of the Ring. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand. But the minute they made that announcement tonight, I knew that idea was dead. And it was pretty clear to me that we were going to have a new World Heavyweight Champion. And I said coming into this show that if someone has to win that title tonight, then I hope that someone is CM Punk. Because Jey Uso as the World Heavyweight Champion is not something that I care to see. Earlier in the year, I felt differently. Earlier in the year, they had a story they told with Jey Uso, and he went in there and he finally won the big one. And it was a very polarizing win. A lot of people didn't like that. A lot of people didn't like the way Gunther, very easily tapped out to Jey Uso at WrestleMania like it was some sort of slap in the face to Gunther. But the idea was that, okay, they're going to tell this story with this guy who's super popular, and everybody yeets, and they sell, a shitload of merch, and so they're going to push him to the moon, and they're going to put the World Heavyweight Championship on him and make him a made guy, right? That was the idea behind it. And at no point did I think, or did I hope, or expect that he was going to have a long run, but he had his run, and then it was over, right? It's like, okay, great, the dream is now over, right? Playtime is over, it's back to business, and the title ended up back on Gunther. The idea of putting the World Heavyweight Championship back on Jey Uso right now is something that doesn't appeal to me. I know it doesn't appeal to a lot of people. They're telling this story of, this discourse between the Usos and Roman Reigns, and of course the Bloodline family drama, which we've been, watching for 5 years now. And that's fine if they want to tell that story. But Jey Uso does not need to be the World Heavyweight Champion as that story plays itself out. So I was hoping that if somebody had to win, it would be CM Punk. And in fact, CM Punk is once again the World Heavyweight Champion. He had the title for 5 minutes at SummerSlam, but now he's going to have a proper run, however long it lasts. It's already lasted longer than his last one. But he is now the World Heavyweight Champion. That main event tonight was the worst thing on the entire show. This was a Saturday night's main event that honestly was mostly carried by good in-ring action. This was not a PLE. This was a souped-up version of Raw or SmackDown, which really, when you think about it, is what Saturday night's main event was always really kind of presented as. It was presented as a souped-up version of what you would see on TV. It was to fill the gap between pay-per-views, and it really served the same purpose today that it did many years ago. So that's what this show was. Honestly, the best part of the entire show was the fact that we didn't have to sit through commercials during the matches. Because this show no longer airs on NBC. Peacock only, unless of course you're watching internationally, then you had it on Netflix. No change for you. Unless it was on YouTube. Were they airing it on YouTube? There was some controversy that it might be on Netflix, but it's on wherever it was in the US. It's on Peacock only. So they saved the commercials for in between the matches. We had 10 minutes of commercials in between matches. But the best part was that none of the matches themselves were actually interrupted by these breaks that we had to suffer through on previous editions of this show. So that was honestly the best part. The main event itself, though, was the weakest part of the entire show. I did not like that main event. I thought that main event, for the most part, especially the first half of that match, I thought that main event was a sloppy mess. I don't know what was going on with Jey Uso in the first half of the match. He got a little bit better as the match went on. He just looked out of it. I don't know what the fuck was going on with him. I've seen CM Punk, and for that matter, I've seen Jey Uso have better matches than the one they had together tonight. That was not a good match. I'm sorry. It was not. We had Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. They had a good match. Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton was exactly what it needed to be. We had a triple threat for the Intercontinental title. I thought it was fun. None of the outcomes on this show were surprising in the least. It pretty much played out exactly the way that I said that it would and that I figured that it would. But of all the matches on the show, the main event, the match they saved for last, was the worst thing on the entire show. So now Punk is the world champion, and now we're heading into Survivor Series, and it just seems to me, because I'm trying to think, what else would you have even Punk doing on the show if he wasn't going to be in a War Games match? Because they've really been giving the impression of late that the MFTs are going to end up in a War Games match, and I hope to the wrestling gods above that is not the case. Frankly, I would be perfectly fine if they wanted to put them in some sort of traditional Survivor Series elimination match, but Triple H is allergic to doing that. So we still don't know who's going to be in War Games. I'm hoping that this means Punk, Roman, we'll end up with some of those names just to avoid the MFT stuff. And I assume that's what Punk will be doing, and then he'll carry that World Heavyweight Championship into next year. And the only question now is, do they keep that title on him until WrestleMania? Does he drop the championship in advance of WrestleMania? Because I was starting to warm up to the idea very much so that at WrestleMania next year, perhaps we could actually get a match between Punk and Cody, which is something they've teased before. Obviously, right now they're on separate brands. It doesn't look very likely. It would not be difficult to get that championship off of Punk long before WrestleMania. You got an Elimination Chamber coming up in Chicago at the end of February. Punk could win the Chamber. He can go challenge for the title on the other show, get that match with Cody. Again, one of many possibilities going forward. There'll be plenty of time for us to brainstorm and kind of fantasy book on what that might look like. Cody Rhodes, though, is still the WWE champion. That was not a surprise to me. Even though on SmackDown last night they added a bunch of stipulations that would make you think it might be a little bit easier to envision Cody might lose the championship. But because I was expecting other champions crowned on this show, it just seemed very unlikely to me that they were going to take the belt off of Cody, and in fact they didn't. And Drew McIntyre got beat again. Fairly clean, I might add. We'll get into the details of what happened here. But I'm at a point now with Drew McIntyre where it's like, man, how many times, and I feel the same way about Rusev and Penta especially, because they were unsuccessful tonight against Dom for the IC title. At what point do you look at some of these men who constantly go in there and get booked in these championship matches and lose? At what point do you look at it and go, it's time to move on? Like, when does the balloon come off the rose? When do you lose interest in seeing the same people challenging for the same titles unsuccessfully over and over again before you look at it and go, okay, it's time to move on to the next? I'm about at that point now with Drew McIntyre. It happened at WrestlePalooza. It happened again here tonight. And you got to ask the question, if you can't beat the champion even when you take away the champion's advantage, then why is this man being fed championship matches? It's kind of where we're at now with him. As far as Jade is concerned, that was the least shocking thing on the entire show, that we have a new WWE Women's Champion. From the moment that they signed it, TKO signed this woman, I am sure that they were waiting for the day that they can give her her crowning moment and do that photo shoot of her with that championship and really market her and push her as their top female star, at least on SmackDown. So now she's got the championship, and now we wait for Bianca Belair to make her eventual return, because that seems to be the natural match as we head into WrestleMania season. So this was a newsworthy show because of the championship changes. It was a newsworthy show because of the John Cena announcement, which I will talk about. And so overall, I mean, it was fine. It was probably one of the more enjoyable episodes of Saturday night's main event because of the lack of commercial interruptions during the matches, as far as a viewing experience is concerned. But no Jesse Ventura. This was the first one, I believe, that Jesse was not on, even though he was supposed to be on all of them this year. See, this is what happens when you speak out of turn, and you say things that the company does not like. They will silence you. And so there was no Jesse Ventura. I suspect that there will be no more Jesse Ventura, which is too bad. I was kind of looking forward to him ranting about another referee, crooked referee here. He would have been ranting about the referee in the Cody and Drew match, I'm sure. So, it's too bad. I was hoping that Jesse would be on the show. But I'm here to talk about the show. This is your Saturday night's main event review. It is Saturday night, November 1st, 2025. I am the Solid Monster. Thank you guys for hanging out with me here 24 hours after we had a fun time on the SmackDown post-show last night, the Halloween show. That SmackDown show last night, outside of the Ilya Dragunov match, sucked. We had more fun on the stream than I think most people had watching the show. And you guys blew it up. It was a very fun Halloween, so I want to say thank you for that. Like and subscribe. super chats are open, and I will be reading your messages here a little bit later on in the stream. I also gave the super chats a little bit of a refresh. So some have been retired, some have been shuffled. There's some new ones. You could always find them in the description down below in this video, just FYI. So get them on in. And again, if we hit our goal tonight, 400 likes minimum on this video, we will do our Be the Booker segment a little bit later on here in the stream. McIntyre hit a belly-to-belly throw. I mean, Cody went flying halfway across the ring on this throw. And Starcast. Several years ago. Maybe it was tied into being disqualified because just landed outside the ring. I could not envision them taking the title from Cody and making it 3. Somebody was going to have to be the odd man out here. Drew McIntyre was the odd man out. So it played out the way that I expected it to. But how much of a loser does Drew McIntyre look like after what we saw here? I mean, look, he more or less lost clean at WrestlePalooza. Now, if you remember what happened at WrestlePalooza, right, he was going to go for the kick against, the Claymore kick up against the announce desk, which was what put Cody out in the first place. And the referee jumped out of the ring, might have been Ryan Tran, jumped out of the ring to try to stop him from doing it, even though there was nothing illegal about it. There was nothing illegal. If Drew wanted to give him a kick against the announce desk, who is the referee to jump out of the ring and say, oh, hold up, you can't do that, right? And that little delay is what led to Drew doing the kick. Cody moved. Drew sold it like he broke his fucking foot. But still, Cody basically beat him clean. And I should point out, by the way, the same spot. They repeated the same spot in this match. I didn't see this referee jumping out of the ring to stop him. I didn't see any other referees running out to try to stop him. Little inconsistency there. But he basically lost clean at WrestlePalooza. And he lost clean here. And if people are going to point to the title in the ring and he DDT'd him on the belt and that's cheating, you know how I look at it this way. Cody is not the one who introduced the belt into the ring. Drew did. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. Cody didn't bring the championship into the ring. Cody didn't blast him in the head with the championship. You might have wanted to. The belt was just laying there. Shit happens. Nothing, he didn't do anything wrong. It was part of the ring. It's like when you take the top turnbuckle off, right? You run somebody's head into it. It's part of the ring. People get run into the ring steps all the time. They don't get disqualified. Why? Because it's part of the ring. As the belt was laying there, it was part of the ring, as far as I'm concerned. So, 2 losses now in a row. Not in a row, but they had that match on SmackDown a couple of weeks ago that Drew won by DQ. But that's 2 fairly clean losses now to Cody Rhodes, and it's like, well, okay, so are we just going to have Drew come out on television again this Friday and complain about being screwed again? Is that really what we're in for? I already saw him. He was on Twitter. He posted the GIF from, was it, not WrestleCon, it was Conrad's event, Starcast, several years ago. Maybe it was tied into the original All In, where Cody told the story about the referee. Referee fucked on me. Remember that GIF? I see that GIF going around every now and then. The referee fucked on me. I don't even remember what the story was. I just remember him saying that. So Drew posted that clip on his Twitter before. So he's already complaining about the referee screwing him over, and so we're going to hear about this now for another few weeks. At what point do you look at this and go, you know what, I'm kind of over it? I really wanted Drew McIntyre to win the championship here. Get that title off Cody, right? Shake things up a little bit. Make Cody chase him for a change instead of the other way around. And maybe we'll still get there, but at this point, to me, it just feels like a lost cause. It really does. McIntyre is in that Kevin Owens spot, where he's a great talent that you can plug in there. You know he's going to give you a good match or a great match, and he could be a great heel, right? A great heel foil for the champion. But the likelihood of them actually pulling the trigger and putting the championship on him just remains very low, like basement low. And it feels like that's where we're at, with Drew McIntyre. So you ask yourself, okay, what do you do now with Cody? It's probably going to be McIntyre. And Randy Orton will come back because one would assume that at some point Randy Orton is going to come back to work. right? Unless he's secretly done and we're not aware of it. He's going to have to come back to work at some point. And maybe we get a triple threat match, and they put the title on the line there, and they do a title change at Survivor Series. So we're not done with this. But I just wonder, because I'm one of these people, now that I've seen this, I'm less enthusiastic about Drew McIntyre and Cody and Drew winning the title than I was even last night. Because it's like, how many times are we going to see this? Until eventually they decide, okay, now's a good time. Now we'll do a title change. Maybe they'll do it as Survivor Series. So then we have 4 more weeks of Drew bitching and moaning about the referee screwing him over. That's basically what we're in for. We had Tiffany Stratton defending the WWE Women's Championship against Jade Cargill, the newly heel Jade Cargill. Man, that scar on her eyebrow is just... It looks badass on her, but it's brutal. I do wonder if she's going to have surgery, cosmetic surgery at some point for that. I think it works for her, but I'm just wondering in the long run if she wants that giant fucking scar on her face. I tried here in this match to really cater to that. Tiffany was a very simple story with her. She was the babyface, even though I will tell you, I think Tiffany is a terrible babyface. Tiffany Stratton, she is a good performer, but in terms of being a babyface, I think she's fucking terrible at it. She's a much better heel. This babyface Tiffany Stratton, she's popular. I'm not saying she's not popular, but it just, for me anyway, just like watching that character on TV, it never resonates with me as a babyface. So in the long run, she's probably better off going heel also, but Jade going heel was the right move. So I just thought they handled this exactly the way that they should have. She basically just wasn't a total squash, but she more or less squashed Tiffany here. But Tiffany had the out with the bum knee, right? She had the injury coming into the match. So the loss doesn't hurt her at all. The woman was undefeated for most of the year. They have kept Tiffany incredibly strong, including a WrestleMania win over Charlotte Flair. So it's not like you can watch this match and go, oh my God, what have they done with Tiffany? She lost to Jade. Yeah, well, Jade is the one they've been wanting to push this entire year. Everything was building to this moment. And now that she's the champion, it's only a matter of time before Bianca Belair comes back. And when she does, right, you don't go to it right away, but that probably will end up being the WrestleMania match, depending on when Bianca is actually able to get medically cleared. You can see the vision. I mean, it's very clear of where this is ultimately going to. The problem still remains whether you have Tiffany Stratton as the champion, Jade Cargill as the champion, or Solomonster as the women's champion. It doesn't matter. You can put anybody in that spot. They still have a massive problem when it comes to the women's division on SmackDown. They do not have enough depth. They don't. And you have 2 former women's world champions in Charlotte and Alexa Bliss who are currently doing the tag team thing. So you could take them out of the equation for now. So what are you really left with in the women's division on SmackDown? Not a whole hell of a lot. You have a lot of people who are at that level of the U.S. title, right? Julia and Kiana James, and they're doing stuff with Chelsea Green, and Zelina Vega just got paired up with Aleister Black. Michin hasn't even been on TV lately, right? Who else is there, realistically, right? I mean, this division is in dire need of some new faces and baby faces, now that they have a heel as the champion. So, good for Jade, but she's in the same spot Tiffany was in. You need challengers for her. You need challengers for her, or this reign is going to die on the vine. And with this talk about them adding people to the creative team to assist Road Dogg, and they recognize that the show has issues and they're trying to correct these issues, I hope that's true. I hope that's true. Those are the reports a few weeks ago. They have yet to manifest those changes where the women's division is concerned. Right? There were some certain things about the show in recent weeks that seemed like they were kind of heading in the right direction. Not yet with the women's division, and I hope they work on that very quickly, or else it's going to be a very boring run having this dominant champion who doesn't have anybody to go in there and work with. Now, speaking of championships, every match on this show was a championship match. So the next one was a triple threat match for the Intercontinental title. It was Dirty Dom Mysterio putting his title on the line against Penta and Rusev. 2 men that have been Row, row, Roman Reigns gently down the street. Rowing Roman Reigns. Row, row, Roman Reigns gently down the street. Two men that have been rowing. He recoiled. And look, I don't know, 2 years, 2.5 years. Not very many. So he takes the loss here again. And Dom wins the match. He retains the championship. I thought it was a fun match. It never dragged. I think they kept things moving along nicely here. You know, I never bought into Dom losing the title. But again, it's the same thing with Drew, and I mentioned it before, where Penta and Rusev, they've had multiple opportunities now at this championship. And at what point do you look at this and go, it's time to move on. This is getting boring. You know, watching the same people lose the same matches against the same person over and over again and fail to win the championship. Who's next? Because I don't want to keep seeing these guys go in there, especially Penta. And yeah, they spared him from taking the pin here, but still, he lost. And so there were rumors that Dom might be wrestling and even defending the title against John Cena at Survivor Series, which I think is still very much possible. You know, even though they have all eyes towards this tournament and who's going to be his final opponent, Cena is scheduled for Survivor Series. Now, they never said he was going to wrestle at Survivor Series, but that would be pretty fucking lame. In his last ever Survivor Series, if he goes in there and doesn't wrestle. So I assume Cena's wrestling somebody on that show. It may well be Dom. So, you know, and I'm sure most people saw the same rumors about that. There was no way he was losing that championship here. He may lose that championship to John Cena. But it was the outcome I think that most people probably expected. And since I'm talking so much here about John Cena, that brings me to what we had next here on the show, which was unexpected. This was not anything they announced, that the Cena was not there, but anything Cena related was not mentioned, right? But it does make sense because the next Saturday night's main event happens to be John Cena's final match. So they pitched it to an excerpt, a sneak peek of a sit-down interview that John Cena did with reporter Tom Rinaldi that they said is going to be dropping soon. And in the clip, Cena said that he made a promise that he would not stick around when his skills cannot match the product. And he says they can't. Physical activity, he said 100%, since we already had Orton and Cena, and we had Punk and Cena, it's only right that we get, you know, Cena and Edge one last time. To me, that doesn't appeal to me as far as his final match is concerned. It is not going to be Adam Copeland. Unless Adam Copeland's contract secretly ran out last month with AEW, and Tony Khan stayed very quiet about it. He is under contract to AEW, and I cannot envision a scenario with the bad blood that exists between these two promotions. Not the talent, right? The talent, they all get along great. It's this fucking stupid war that exists among the people who run these companies because, you know, they're both, especially WWE, petty as shit. I cannot envision a scenario in which Adam Copeland is allowed to participate in a tournament to crown John Cena's final opponent, let alone go in there and lose. To be in the tournament and not even win, or if he wins the tournament, go on and lose to John Cena. Like, no. And anybody who's getting excited about this, all you're doing is setting yourself up for disappointment. I'm just warning you. Don't set yourself up for disappointment when it comes to that. And Jericho's another one too, by the way. There's a better chance that maybe Jericho could be in it, but as far as anybody knows, Jericho is under contract still to AEW. So it ain't going to be him either, but it sure as hell ain't going to be Adam Copeland. So what does that mean? Well, TNA happens to be a promotion that they are very chummy with lately, and they have a partnership, an actual partnership with TNA. And they just did a whole invasion show with them a few weeks ago. And there are plenty of people on the TNA roster that I could see being a part of this thing, including some old faces that John Cena would be very familiar with, including Nick Nemeth and Matt Cardona. And there's another guy, by the way, who has been lobbying all year for a match with John Cena. Now, I don't think he's going to get it, but at least maybe he can get himself in the tournament, and that would be Joe Hendry. I could absolutely see any or all three of those guys as a part of this tournament. And then you look at NXT, because it's open to NXT, so you're going to have at least one NXT name in there. Is it going to be a Trick Williams? Is it going to be Obafemi? Is that the way they want to debut Obafemi on the main roster, by having him go in there and potentially lose in a tournament like this? Because I just don't see him being the final opponent. Right? It's possible. It would be one way, I guess, to potentially launch him in the eyes of people who may not be familiar with who he is. Javon Evans. Javon Evans going to get a spot. Placed Jay on the top turnbuckle. He tried matches. It was a newsworthy show because we have a new world champion, a new women's champion, and the John Cena announcement. And that'll be the real news coming out. Nothing more, nothing less. But I appreciate the lack of commercials during the actual matches. That'll be the nice thing about these shows being on Peacock going forward. What did you think of Saturday night's main event from Salt Lake City? We go to the Twitter poll. 65%. I don't really have any, and again, I don't have anything against Jey Uso. I do think that he gets a lot of undue hate. My issue is not with him personally or having a push, because he's very over. I do not want to see Jey Uso as World Heavyweight Champion. I certainly do not want to see Jey Uso as World Heavyweight Champion if it's going to be, mostly consisting of matches like what we saw in the first half of this match here tonight. I did not like this match. Now, it did get better, got a little bit better as the match went on, but to me, this was the worst thing on the entire show. Not even close. The worst thing on the entire show. Like, the Jade match was intentionally short and dominant, so that was a little bit different. The opening match was good. The triple threat match was good. I thought that was the best part of the show. And this was easily the weakest. I don't know what was going on. It was just a sloppy mess in the first half. And Jay just looked slow and gassed and just out of it. And this was at the beginning of the match. It's not as if he was selling like a long match and he's...
Solo leveling. Arise. Friends. Beyond Journey's End.
Riley! Into the gears, and it just kind of fucked things up going into Monday Night Raw. No one expected Dominic Mysterio to win or actually lose his match. A lot of people expected him to win. I would have loved to see Rusev or Penta walk out the Intercontinental Champion, but even there, more of the same. Dominic Mysterio, once again, outsmarts his opponents. He doesn't necessarily cheat, because in this setting of a triple threat match, there are no rules, so there really is no cheating. But Dominic Mysterio, predictably, walks out the Intercontinental Champion. Same old shit. We've seen the narrative over the course of the last few weeks with Dominic Mysterio coming up with different ways to save his ass and win the match and retain the championship. Nothing new there. Fun match. Fun match, but a predictable outcome. And then Jade Cargill, the Women's WWE Championship. Tiffany Stratton, the champion, over on Friday Night SmackDown, walks into this match with a bum knee. Obviously a worked injury from SmackDown, where Jade Cargill turned heel last week. She shows up tonight, and that is her detriment. That is the straw that broke the camel's back there, per se. Jade Cargill took advantage of that. Jade Cargill, in 5 minutes or so, wiped the fucking floor with Tiffany Stratton. And Jade Cargill is now the new WWE Women's Champion over on Friday night. And the Jade Cargill-Bianca Belair showdown and the road to that happening, whether it's at WrestleMania or sometime before WrestleMania, that is now on the horizon, as people get excited about that. This was largely a predictable show. Newsworthy show for one or two other reasons, but a largely predictable show. I would say the biggest takeaway from tonight's show is what they did with John Cena. Now, John Cena wasn't there tonight. John Cena was not in Utah, Salt Lake City. But they did give you a little glimpse into where they're going into the next Saturday night's main event. On December 13th, Washington, D.C., John Cena's final match ever for the WWE. His final match, period, in pro wrestling. Tonight, WWE announced that there would be a 16-man, the Last Time Is Now tournament. 16-man tournament to determine who will step in the ring and look at John Cena across from that ring at the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. on December 13th. The winner will get John Cena's final match on December 13th, Saturday night's main event. I, for one, love the idea. I think it's a great idea. We've talked about this for a couple of weeks now. We talked about this last week on TNT. I believe it was last week or the week before that, where the rumor was coming out that WWE wanted to do a tournament for John Cena and his final opponent. John Cena was showcased tonight in a video package, and he had dubbed over some audio showing highlights of his 2025 and obviously hype package for his retirement match. And he said the one question that he gets asked so often, more so than any other question, is who he wants his final opponent to be. And he basically gave a very straightforward, very political answer. An honest answer. A John Cena answer. I want my final opponent to be the one guy who takes this opportunity, relishes it, runs with it, wants it so badly in the same way that I wanted my opportunity over 20 years ago, obviously with that ruthless aggression line to Kurt Angle. And they shot it back to that historic moment in John Cena's career. He wants his opponent to have that same type of drive and same type of hunger, whoever that may be. Now, he also went on to give some information about what this is going to be, as far as who the 16 men will be. He says the 16 men will span across all three brands, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and he even mentioned that there will be some open spots for people who aren't necessarily employed by WWE, which I'm assuming the IWC will run with and hopefully get their dreams and hopes all crushed, because that's exactly what they usually do. They put things out there and they wish for it so badly to happen, and when it doesn't happen, everybody goes and runs to social media to complain as to why those things never happen. No, Edge will not be in John Cena's final tournament. Adam Copeland will not be in the 16-man The Last Time Is Now tournament. No, Chris Jericho will not be in the 16-man The Last Time Is Now tournament. There, I saved you all of your fucking hopes and dreams. Neither one of those guys will be in the tournament. So this begs the question. Did the Dodgers... What happened with the Dodgers? So, hold on here. Let me look at this phone here. Oh, it's 4-3 now. It's 4-3 now. Top of the 8th. Apparently Max Muncy hit a home run. 4-3. So, it's top of the 8th, 2 out. Blue Jays are still up 4-3. This is going to go down to the wire. This is going to be a nail-biter.
Things happen here, but no one really talks about it.
We have 25 disappearances.
Oh, these are the games, as a fan, I do not like. Especially a Game 7. I used to sit there with my fucking rosary beads, and I used to sit cross-legged on my grandma's rug, or in front of my TV at the house when I was little. I would rock back and forth like fucking Mankind sitting in a basement somewhere, hoping and praying that things don't go awry and things don't get fucked up. We'll keep you guys posted throughout the night. So what I was saying is, this begs the question, who is now going to be in this tournament? Obviously, there are going to be some of the talent John Cena has had a very significant history with. Rusev. I'm assuming The Miz is going to be a part of that. I'm assuming Sheamus is going to be a part of that. I don't know if Drew McIntyre is going to be a part of that. He lost tonight. We'll talk about that. I hated that. Match was good. I hated the outcome. It's basically, I said this weeks ago, this is basically WWE running back the same fucking story that they ran with Kevin Owens in the beginning of the year with Cody Rhodes. I hated the way that they had Drew McIntyre lose. Is McIntyre going to be part of that? He's asked for a match with John Cena. Going back to the beginning of the year, he wanted his name to be in discussion for a John Cena match. Are we going to see the Vision? Are we going to see Braun Breaker in that? Are we going to see maybe Dominic Mysterio as the Intercontinental Champion in that? Are we going to see Ilya Dragunov, the United States Champion, in that? You would think that they should be in that tournament. Who from NXT are you going to see in this tournament? We could see Ethan Page. He's the current NXT North American Champion. We could see Ricky Starks, who I would love to see in the tournament. He's the current NXT Men's World Champion. We could see maybe an up-and-comer. Maybe somebody like Miles Bourne. Maybe we could see Lexis King. Maybe we see Trick Williams in the tournament. Maybe we see Obafemi in the tournament. WWE has kept Obafemi off of television for several weeks now since he lost that World Championship to Ricky Starks at No Mercy. Maybe we see Obafemi in the tournament, because I know a lot of people on social media are already drooling over the fact of a Gunther versus Obafemi final. The most interesting aspect of it all is who from the outside is going to be in this tournament. Who is not a part of the WWE that is going to be a part of this tournament? And I need to reiterate this again because there are some people who just don't understand and will never understand. Adam Copeland and Chris Jericho are not going to be in the tournament. MJF or any other AEW talent is not going to be a part of the tournament. New Japan talent like Tanahashi, who's retiring in January, is not going to be a part of the tournament. I'm thinking along the lines of Matt Cardona, who needs to be in the tournament. I don't give a fuck what they do. I don't give a shit how much money it takes. Pay the man, get him in the tournament. Matt Cardona needs to be in the tournament. Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth. I'd love to see him in the tournament. Someone who I can almost guarantee is going to be in the tournament is going to be Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry is going to be in the tournament. Joe Hendry's made a thing and created a narrative earlier in the year that he very much wants an opportunity to wrestle John Cena. Now, he will not wrestle John Cena on December 13th, but he will have the opportunity to showcase himself to the WWE Universe on the main roster level before he joins the WWE full-time in 2026. Jeff Hardy. I could see Jeff Hardy be a part of that tournament. Hardy Boys are, or they were the NXT Tag Team Champions. They did lose to Dark State at Halloween Havoc. But you think of the Hardys as WWE. I think of the Hardys as WWE. Even though they are the TNA Tag Team Champions, they are multiple Tag Team Champions across a couple of independent promotions. They got their own Expedition of Gold narrative going about. I'd love to see Jeff Hardy in that tournament. I'd love to see someone like a Mike Santana in that tournament. Imagine Mike Santana, TNA World Heavyweight Champion, in that tournament, showcasing his skills, showing how great he is on a Monday night, on a Friday night. I'd love to see that. How about a returning Mustafa Ali, who apparently has got a contract coming up and is set to be a free agent potentially? Maybe he makes his way back to the WWE. He's been doing some great work. He's always been fucking fantastic. Always. He's even better now. There are talents that obviously you can take a pick of and make a banger tournament. And I hope WWE, I swear to God, man, at the end of all of this, there should be no AAA inclusion. I don't want to see Mr. Iguana in the fucking tournament. I don't want to see anybody from AAA in this tournament. Nobody. It needs to be as serious could be. You get one shot. John Cena's 2025, outside of the last 2 or 3 months, basically since SummerSlam, has largely been awful. Match with Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam was fucking great. One of the best matches of the entire year in pro wrestling. His match with Logan Paul at Clash in Paris was a fucking banger. His match with Sami Zayn on SmackDown was a banger. His match with AJ Styles was a banger. I don't give a shit what WWE's got planned for this tournament. The one thing that they need to do is make it a serious situation. You get one opportunity and you get one moment to create John Cena's final match. It should be taken as the most serious fucking thing on television outside of the 2 world championships. And here's the kicker, folks. WWE should have fun. I don't want to go into this tournament with it being uber predictable. I don't want to go into this tournament with it being something that I look at and I see, well, there's the 8 guys on one side, there's the 8 guys on the other, there's 16 men in total, and I can automatically predict what the fucking final's going to be. I don't want to look at a bracket where I know what the final's going to be before we even begin this 16-man tournament. Make it fun. Incorporate storylines and angles that are existing on your television into the tournament and have those storylines play out so that when those things play out, they may continue after the tournament is over. Don't throw 18 or 16 guys together. Don't throw 16 guys together here for the sake of a fucking tournament and call it a tournament for John Cena's last match. Have it mean something. Put some thought into it. Give me matches that, on a normal situation, you may not see. Do not worry about wins and losses. Give me wins. Give me losses. Give me a competitive tournament because you only get one. In some circles, this is bigger than a world championship. You only get one. It's one match, and then it's over, and then it's a footnote in a fucking encyclopedia somewhere. That's what needs to be. That's what needs to be. I love this idea. Tournaments are a great way to get superstars that the main roster audience isn't invested in or doesn't know too much of.
Keep your
You put
fucking
them in a
mouth shut.
spotlight.
You
You
are
put them
talking
in
to
that
one
type of
person.
spotlight. And
We
you
better
get
see you
them
ready next
national
tomorrow. And stop
exposure.
giving this animal
You
all the
build
attention.
what you previously have not built. You give me matches that normally, on a given Monday or a given Friday, we
I'm
haven't
gonna ask you to
seen
walk
or
out.
may
I'm gonna
never
have you
see
actually remove
or
you
only
from the
see in a
court
rare
when you keep talking like
situation
that.
when it comes around. This needs to be handled with the utmost care. And it
Who
needs
you
to be
think
something
you're talking to? You're
that
not coming in here
WWE,
and
once again, not only has fun with, but takes very, very seriously. This could be the biggest moment since the initial turn of John Cena on Cody Rhodes at the Elimination Chamber on March 1st. Ever since then, WWE's dropped the fucking ball. Until they threw their hands up with the John Cena heel turn on a random episode of Friday Night SmackDown a week or 2 before SummerSlam and said, you know what, we're done with the fucking heel turn. We're going to turn John Cena back into a babyface and he's going to go right out his last 5 months of the year as a babyface, like everybody remembers John Cena as. They've done what they can to turn things around and salvage this man's final year, which will largely be forgettable.
Go with that. You will know better than
WWE
he
needs
is.
to make this one a
You
grand
have a
slam.
right to defend him. Keep your
I don't
freaking
know
mouth
what they
shut.
got planned.
Do
I
not say
gave you
shit in the
guys
courtroom and
a
stop
nice list of
attacking
names
the animal.
outside the company. I gave you guys a nice list of names from within the company.
Me and my wife
WWE should
have
absolutely
the
have
best seizure recognition.
this dominate their television. Now, when WWE tends to do more than one thing at a time, they usually have their brains fried and everything goes awry. Hopefully they can build this and also build for Survivor Series at the same time. Because we don't know what the fuck's going on with Survivor Series. We don't know if there's going to be a men's and women's War Games. We don't know if there will be only one singular War Games. We don't know what the World Championship matches are going to be coming out of tonight. WWE's got a lot on their plate. Survivor Series coming up. Those two big shows, which are John Cena's final two Raws. One in Boston, where the tournament begins on November 13th. Then in Madison Square Garden, or what is that, November 10th. One of those dates. Boston, Madison Square Garden the following week. Survivor Series, and then DC on the 13th. 4 more shows. That's it. WWE's got a lot on their plate. Those two shows, Survivor Series, the weekly television, giving us this tournament, John Cena's final match on December 13th, and then they'll probably coast and shift gears into fucking autopilot mode for the rest of the year until we get to the Royal Rumble. WWE's got to make the last 8 weeks of the year count. There's not many. There's not many. This could be make or break for WWE going into the Royal Rumble. They need something to happen on their television shows that elicits excitement. Because right now, nothing is really generating that type of excitement or generating that type of feeling. So I am very much excited about this tournament. I love a good tournament, and I love to see the unpredictability of said tournament, and I love to see matches, I hope that's the case, that normally we wouldn't get under a normal setting. So we'll talk about CM Punk, Jey Uso. We'll talk about Cody and Drew McIntyre. We'll talk about Jade Cargill wiping the floor with Tiffany Stratton, winning her first major singles championship in WWE since coming on over from AEW. After tonight, the list of champions in WWE are certainly looking very much all elite. Cody Rhodes is the WWE champion. CM Punk is the World Heavyweight Champion. Jade Cargill is the WWE Women's Champion coming off of Friday Night SmackDown. Ethan Page is the NXT North American Champion. Mariah May, now Blake Monroe, is the Women's North American Champion. And Ricky Starks is the Men's NXT World Heavyweight Champion. That is 6 former AEW talents currently employed by WWE that are holding championship gold. If that is not done by design, I would be shocked. This is your Saturday night's main event post show for November 1st, 2025. I'm your host, JD from New York. Thank you guys very much for joining me here. We got 2,100 people in here on a Saturday night. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with me on this Saturday night. I want to apologize for not going live last night for the SmackDown post show. I just couldn't bring myself to go live. I couldn't bring myself to go live, man. And quite honestly, I watched that show and I said, I do not want to waste my Friday night on Halloween reviewing a dead show that offered absolutely zero story and little effort going into Saturday night's main event. The only talking point, the only thing of note, was Ilya Dragunov and Nathan Frazier. And even that, though it was a great match, because they're both great wrestlers, the US Open Challenge doesn't offer any real story. It's just randomized matches every single week, because the creative team on Friday night is lazy. And between me and you, honestly, October has not been a very good mental health month for me. I've struggled mightily, not only with my mental health. I have dipped in and out of feeling burnt, whatever the case may be. They were not airing, at least here in the New York market, on NBC. And that was a killer for the show. There was nothing more than commercial after commercial after commercial. I mean, in a 10-minute match, you'd get 2 commercial breaks, and in that 10 minutes, you probably get 3 minutes of in-ring time. It's not the way I want to consume my pro wrestling. Saturday night's main event being moved to specifically Peacock in an exclusive role has been the best change of the show. There was no mid-match commercial. This felt like a mini PLE. Now, I wish that they would add another match to really kind of round it out. Monday Night Raw usually goes 2.5 hours. I don't know why we can't do the same thing for Saturday night's main event and just kind of make it feel like a bigger deal. It did feel like WWE put a card together, they threw 4 matches together, and they wanted to be off the air at 9 o'clock. Show started at 7, and they were off the air by 9 o'clock. But the best part of the show was that there was no mid-match commercials. You got everything that you got advertised in its entirety. And that is a welcome change. So I love that. No more mid-match commercials on these shows, and I'm glad to see that is not going to affect John Cena's final match. That was one thing we were all concerned with. How many commercials are going to be in John Cena's final match? Could go 20 fucking minutes and we'll be bombarded with 3 fucking commercials. Thank God. We did get commercials in between. We got the regular 3.5 minute block of 7 commercials in between, which is fine. It's the way it should be. It's the way all my pro wrestling should be consumed. No commercials during the fucking match. Give me as many commercials as you want after the match is over. Don't interrupt my viewing experience. So that was a welcome change. Very stripped down version of Saturday night's main event. I quite enjoyed the old school nostalgic feel, but sometimes WWE went over the top with it. But I like this presentation a lot better. We started things off with Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre for the WWE Undisputed Championship. The WWE Championship. Seeing this match start first, you almost knew that WWE was not going to do a title change. WWE would have never switched the title here in the open of the match because, A, it's the biggest championship, and B, I just don't see them doing that to Cody Rhodes in the open of the match, kind of rendering what he did earlier in the night pretty much useless if they did have something bigger happening at the end of the show. I enjoyed this match. I thought this was a lot better than what we got at WrestlePalooza, a ton better compared to what we got at WrestlePalooza. They went almost 20 minutes. 20 minutes almost, not almost, but all of it, uninterrupted. Love it. Now, the deal with this is, there was a stipulation that happened at the end of SmackDown. Drew McIntyre would not sign the contract at the end of SmackDown last night, making this match official. Now, this match was made official weeks ago, but Drew McIntyre would not officially put pen to paper to make it official. He did not want to abide by Cody's rules. So he looked at Nick Aldis and said, I'm not signing this contract because it's just going to be like everything else. He gets to keep his title on a disqualification and a countout, and then I would be deemed the loser. So I want countout and disqualification. If Cody is going to be immune from those rules in every other meeting that we had prior, I want this match to be different. So if there was a countout or a disqualification, Cody Rhodes would lose the championship and Drew McIntyre would win the championship on either a countout or a disqualification. Now, at the end of the show, Cody Rhodes was put through a table, which ended up being a very stereotypical contract signing for WWE. Cody Rhodes went through the contract table, which, before a major show and a major title match, doesn't really bode well for the challenger. Usually goes the way of the champion, or whoever goes through the table. It's a bad omen. Drew McIntyre even poked fun at that on social media after SmackDown ended. This omen, this bad omen that usually happens to everybody is not going to happen to me. I'm going to change history. He did not. WWE is lazy, chat. WWE is very lazy. We got a situation with Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. Everything that you're seeing between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre is basically a mirror image. It's almost nearly identical to what Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens did. Meanwhile, Drew McIntyre is not doing it better than Kevin Owens, and Cody Rhodes actually performed some of his best shit during the Kevin Owens feud back in December for that last Saturday night's main event of 2024 and going into the Royal Rumble. I thought that was a great feud. Honestly, you look at Cody Rhodes' year, that is probably Cody's best feud all year for the WWE Championship. That was obviously before he lost it to John Cena at WrestleMania, but Cody Rhodes, one of Cody Rhodes' best feuds is Kevin Owens. Yes, it was predictable. Nobody expected Kevin Owens to win the WWE Championship, but man, they did everything right there. Kevin Owens was a fucking great heel. He attacked Cody Rhodes. The way it was set up was great. It started on social media. It went viral. He got into a little push contest with Triple H at the end of that Saturday night's main event, gave him the package pile driver. Cody even brought out the Winged Eagle belt. And Kevin Owens, after the package pile driver, stole the Winged Eagle belt and took the belt because he felt like he was the rightful champion after being screwed by management. Basically, everything that Drew McIntyre is. We got a tie ball. Dodgers just tied the game. 4-4. It's basically what we're getting at here, man. We're going into extra innings again, aren't we? Boy, they're really looking to make this one historic World Series, huh? This has been quite the series between these two teams. It's unbelievable, man. So if I waited till after the game was over to go live, it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because it looks like we're going into extra innings. So like I was saying, this is basically a mirror image of everything Kevin Owens did with Cody Rhodes.
No, I think Kevin Owens.
The match tonight even ended the same way that the Saturday night's main event match with Kevin Owens ended. A crossroads or a DDT on the World Heavyweight Championship. WWE is lazy, chat. Triple H has gotten lazy. He's basically running the same fucking feud with Cody Rhodes, with a different heel, doing the same shit, playing the same character. Kevin Owens thought his truth was the truth, and it was. It was very difficult to argue with Kevin Owens. It was very difficult to see Kevin Owens being wrong. Drew McIntyre's basically doing the same thing. He's feeling like he's wronged. Management is against him. The referees are crooked. Cody's a crooked politician. Everybody's Team Cody. Everybody does everything bending over backwards to help Cody Rhodes. It's the same fucking narrative. So where is the creativity? If that is the level of creativity that we have for Cody Rhodes during his championship runs, maybe Cody Rhodes shouldn't be the WWE champion. That's the way I look at it. If this is such low-level content for Cody Rhodes, who's one of the best storytellers in the business, how do you think that makes him look if they're basically running a rehash of his feud from last year going into this year with Kevin Owens. Maybe Cody Rhodes shouldn't be the WWE champion. And you have to look at Drew McIntyre. How many times can you put him in a championship match and have him lose before you say enough is enough? How many times can you look at Drew McIntyre and want to see him win? And every time you look at him, he loses. Enough is enough. Now you got this John Cena tournament. Is he going to continue to chase Cody Rhodes and the WWE Championship? Something that may never come? And miss on John Cena's tournament? And miss out on an opportunity to wrestle John Cena in his final match ever? What does he do? What does he do? Go after Cody or go to the tournament? Because you know he wants to wrestle Cena. The way this match ended, yes, they played up the rule that they signed the contract for on Friday night. And the way this ended almost certainly is going to give us a match number 3. It has to. I don't see any other way that we go into Survivor Series. Cody has no other challenger outside of Drew McIntyre coming out of the way that this match ended. And I'll tell you exactly what I think is going to happen because of the way this match ended. Now, what I thought here was great. This match was very good. Probably one of Cody Rhodes' better matches in, I would say, the last few months. His match with John Cena was very good at SummerSlam. His match at WrestlePalooza was blah. And then he went to go film Street Fighter. And now he's here wrestling Drew McIntyre again. He hasn't really done much of anything with the WWE Championship. Nowhere in the record books, or nowhere in the rule book, I should say, does it say Cody Rhodes needs to hold the WWE Championship till WrestleMania. This is why I think WWE is too safe, too predictable. We need to make some changes. We need to make something happen here. And the more you hold the championship hostage around Cody Rhodes, who you're also doing nothing with, and not telling any stories with, or any interesting stories, I should say, the more damage you're doing not only to SmackDown, but Cody Rhodes and the WWE Championship and everybody else that challenges for it. The match was very good. I love the way that they teased. This was almost like a rage bait in the first 5 minutes. McIntyre tried to get Cody to disqualify himself, and he was playing up getting counted out, and he was trying to kind of lure him into more anger problems so that he makes a mistake of the way that this match ended. And I'll tell you exactly what I think is going to happen because of the way this match ended. Now, what I thought here was great. This match was very good. Probably one of Cody Rhodes' better matches in, I would say, the last few months. His match with John Cena was very good at SummerSlam. His match at WrestlePalooza was blah. Kind of playing up the heel. He climbed the turnbuckles. Cody met the story, and the way that everything is playing out with Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre is incredibly fucking lazy. It's basically the same thing that they did with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens from last December's Saturday Night's main event going into the Royal Rumble, where they had that great ladder match. It's the same thing. Kevin Owens had his character, his heel work, basically playing up the fact that he was right and nobody would listen to him. And it was very difficult to argue Kevin Owens was wrong. Everything he said was right. Everything he said had a sense of legitimacy. And now they're doing it in the same way with Drew McIntyre, where he feels like he's getting fucked over and over and over again. Referees, Cody cheating and using more of those heel tactics when he tries to be the good guy. Cody said last night, they said good guys finish last until you met me. Cody's basically parading around like a good guy and acting like a bad guy. Drew McIntyre is not wrong. Drew McIntyre's a loser, but he's not wrong. And I'm wondering when we're going to get Drew McIntyre not being wrong, but also a fucking WWE champion. When is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? There's either one or two things that come out of this. You look at Drew McIntyre and you ask yourself, how many more times can this guy get a WWE Championship match and not win it? I mean, what an awful year the guy's had. He's nothing more than a fucking... I don't want to say he's a superstar jobber or anything, but... I mean, holy fucking shit. Drew McIntyre may be one of the most... creatively anyway... just... horrible booking for McIntyre all year. His WrestleMania feud with Damian Priest and the fact they didn't do anything with him all summer. And now he's wrestling Cody Rhodes and he still can't get any name recognition out of it. Uh-oh. Chat is saying bases loaded. Jay's got the bases loaded. Bottom of the ninth with one out. Oh my goodness. Bro, there may be a party. There may be a party in Toronto tonight.
Are you?
Chat will keep us updated. So when is Drew McIntyre going to get his due? One of two situations comes out of this. Drew McIntyre goes into the tournament and becomes one of the 16 to wrestle John Cena in his last match. And even then, I don't think he's going to win that. I don't think Drew McIntyre, even if he's in the tournament, is going to get John Cena for his final match. I don't. It's probably going to end up being Gunther. McIntyre enters the tournament, is one of the 16, and Randy Orton emerges on Friday night, and he looks at Cody Rhodes. And he looks at Cody Rhodes in a different way, watching from the sidelines. The Blue Jays win? Did the Blue Jays just win? The Blue Jays just won the World Series. It says still bottom of the ninth, 4-4 on my phone. Nothing happened yet. Nothing's updated on my phone yet. Nothing is up. 16 for the John Cena tournament. I don't know. I thought this was good. Just kind of a lame ending. I would have loved to see, at least for a little bit, a new WWE champion. Tiffany Stratton. She walks in as the WWE Women's Champion against Jade Cargill, who just turned heel 2 weeks ago on Friday Night SmackDown after Tiffany Stratton beats Kiana James. The heel turn was very well done. I praised Jade Cargill's heel turn 2 weeks ago on Friday Night SmackDown when we did the post show, and I thought this could actually be a very good thing for Jade. This could be a good thing for Jade because, A, I think what we've basically gotten since Jade came over from AEW is somebody pretending to be Jade Cargill. Or Jade Cargill pretending to be somebody else. Jade was not a genuine character. She wasn't. Jade Cargill was pretending to be the good guy when we all know down deep she wants to be a heel. She acts like a heel. She talks like a heel. She carries herself as a heel. She doesn't really get cheered. She doesn't. The crowd and everybody else who watches this product saw Jade as a manufactured, overhyped, overpushed talent that WWE wanted and tried to make into a big deal because they felt like it would be a great way to shove it in AEW's face. Haha, look at what we have, look at what we turned Jade into, and look at what you could not. She's got the WWE platform, she's got the talent agency that she's signed to, she's going to be doing movies. Jade Cargill felt like an entertainer first and a pro wrestler dead last. Which is why we are here. January before the Rumble. Excellent. Thank you guys, I love the chat. The chat's always quick, man. January 24th. January 24th, Saturday night's main event. A week before the Rumble. Gotta love it. I gotta admit, man, I was not the biggest Dominic Mysterio guy. I was one of those who looked at Dominic Mysterio as kind of a coaster. Right? He was just kind of going with the motions. He's just there in the Judgment Day. He plays up his relationship with Liv Morgan. Before that, with Rhea Ripley. I think in the aftermath of Liv Morgan's injury, Dominic has honestly made himself into a legit superstar. And he's one of the best aspects of television. And I mean that. I think Dominic has the makings of a breakout guy. He's on his way to being that. I still don't think of Dominic Mysterio as a world champion, per se. I think some things need to happen before we actually start putting him in that discussion. But as of right now, I think Dominic Mysterio is doing some really banger work. I think his matches are really good. I didn't really think that way maybe a year ago. And my entire perception on Dominic Mysterio is now changed. Honestly. I thought this was a fun match. I thought his matches with Penta, I think he works great with Penta. I think he works great with Rusev. I think Penta works really good with Rusev. So I've been liking what they're doing with the Intercontinental Championship. It's not like a groundbreaking story per se, but it takes us from one week into the next, into the next, into the next. And it all revolves around Dominic Mysterio cheating to win. He gets by Rusev in the most slithery of ways. He gets by Penta in the most kind of sneakiest of ways. And obviously, Adam Pearce is seeing this, and at the same time, he's got tensions with his Judgment Day stablemates where they don't want to help him, and he's getting the Los Americanos guys to help him. He's getting in trouble with his boys, J.D. McDonough and Finn Balor, by inadvertently getting them a championship match that they never asked for against Dragon Lee and AJ Styles, to whom they lost the tag team titles to, and now are blaming Dominic for making the match happen. There's a lot going on here. Dominic is really a centralized focus on Raw, and it's really good TV. And this was a fun match. Now, there's no rules here. Dominic didn't really need to cheat here. Everything is legal. So Adam Pearce basically said, you want to cheat? I'm going to give you the opportunity to cheat legally. So there you go, triple threat match. So on Raw, Rusev and Penta had their number one contenders match, which was interrupted by El Grande Americano, Rayo Americano, not Mayo, Rayo Americano, and Bravo Americano. Los Americanos. They attacked Rusev and Penta, because Dominic placed in a Starbucks order and drove up to the window and picked it up. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce threw his hands up. It's all right. Triple threat match, no rules. By all means, go kill yourselves. So Rusev and Penta attacked Mysterio as soon as the bell rang. They took turns stomping away and punching at Dominic. Dominic rolls to the outside, and Rusev drop-kicked Penta. Beautiful drop-kick by Rusev. You don't think that Rusev can throw a good drop-kick, but he is pretty fucking athletic for a guy his size. Rusev went for the cover. Mysterio returned and broke up the count on Rusev. Rusev then put Penta out and turns his attention to Dominic, suplexing him over and over and over again. He then picked up Mysterio, threw him around. Mysterio rolled out of the ring, and Rusev followed Dominic outside and Mysterio threw Rusev into the ring post. Penta dove through the ropes, took out Rusev, and then Mysterio did the same and took out Penta with dives. We go back into the ring. Penta and Mysterio battled in the... and solidifying 17 now, when it was vacant. Making that a big deal. Because Dominic placed in a Starbucks order and drove up to the window and picked it up. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce threw his hands up and said, all right, triple threat match, no rules. By all means, go kill yourselves. So Rusev and Penta attacked Mysterio as soon as the bell rang. They took turns stomping away and punching at Dominic. Dominic rolls to the outside, and Rusev drop-kicked Penta. It wasn't the timekeeper ringing the bell because Penta tapped out. It was Dominic ringing the bell, causing a distraction which allowed Rusev to release the hold. So Rusev released the accolade, thinking he won the match. So I knew exactly what was going on here as soon as I seen Dominic. Everyone looked confused. Rusev thought he won. Camera caught Mysterio with the hammer. He hit the bell to cause a distraction. That made Rusev very, very mad. So then he started to ragdoll Mysterio, was Rusev, around outside of the ring. Mysterio shoved Rusev into the steel steps, quickly climbed back into the ring with the bell hammer. Penta stopped him. He grabbed the hammer from Dominic, and he went to hit Mysterio with it. So Mysterio ducks. Penta accidentally took out Rusev with the hammer. Mysterio then took out Penta, hits a frog splash off the top rope on Rusev, and he pins Rusev again for the 1, 2, 3. So he took out Penta with the hammer, and after Rusev was already laid out with the hammer by Penta accidentally, Dominic goes to the top rope, hits the frog splash, and pins Rusev again for the 1, 2, 3. This was a fun match, and I thought this was probably, out of all the matches tonight, the second best match of the night. I can't imagine this is going to go on any longer. Now, I know there's a rumor. I may make a video on it tomorrow. John Cena, apparently, there is news that WWE may be setting up John Cena to win the Intercontinental Championship before we get to Washington, D.C. on December 13th for his final match. And whomever he wrestles in his final match, he will put the Intercontinental Championship on the line in his final match, whether it's against McIntyre or whether it's against Gunther or whoever it may be. I don't really give a shit about John Cena winning the Intercontinental Championship. I think he is so far above that doesn't need to happen. If you wanted him to win a championship, I don't know why he didn't win the vacant world title. Again, this is a product of WWE not having things planned. If WWE wanted John Cena to break the record, if they wanted him to win number 17, did it need to happen at WrestleMania? Did it? I mean, John Cena not winning the World Championship and solidifying 17 now, when it was vacant, making that a big deal, putting that title on the line on December 13th, and dropping the World Championship to whomever his opponent was. That would have been the way to go out. Not the Intercontinental Championship. Not the Intercontinental Championship. I don't give a shit about John Cena winning the IC title. So what happens now? Dominic, Penta, and Rusev. What happens next? They gave these guys a platform, a match with no rules. Anything goes. Everything's legal. As a product of Dominic cheating. So Dominic wins the match that basically he brought on himself by cheating to win. Now he does what? Wrestle Rusev again? Wrestle Penta again? What's the point? He's beaten them multiple times now. And now twice in the same match. Rusev and Dominic I could see in the Intercontinental, or I could see Rusev and Dominic as Intercontinental Champion. I could see them in the John Cena tournament. The last time is now tournament. Absolutely. This was a fun match. Dominic retains the championship. The Dodgers have taken the lead, 5-4 in the top of the 11th. I don't know, man. The Dodgers win? Did they win? The Dodgers didn't win yet. We have a bottom of the 11th to go, chat. The Dodgers did not win yet. The game is not over, especially in a playoff game. The game is not over until the final out is recorded. 3 more outs. We've talked about the John Cena The Last Time Is Now tournament. Promo aired for December Saturday night's main event on December 13th. Speculating on who John Cena's final opponent will be, it was announced that there is a tournament starting November 10th, Monday Night Raw in Boston. A 16-man The Last Time Is Now tournament. The winner will face John Cena in his final match. Like I mentioned before, we went over a list of names in and out of the company. Uso seemed dazed as Punk started throwing some chops. Punk then charged, and Uso caught him with the Samoan drop. Uso went for a spear. Punk caught him with a neck breaker. So the match slowed down even more. Punk controlled the match now. Put Uso in a crossface. Uso fought out of it. Punk sent him off the ropes. Uso grabbed Punk and drop kicked Punk midair. Punk grabbed Uso. It's like me going to a wine bar and fucking munching on cheeses and fancy crackers. It's not dinner. It's the in-between dinner. But at least I got a nice couple of glasses of wine out of it, so I feel a little buzzed. It's basically how I feel about Saturday night's main event. That's your show. Thank you guys for the 2,500 people in here on this Saturday night. You guys are awesome. We're going to get into your super chats in just a second. They are open.
Well, I'm going to end the video. Until next time, hit that like button, leave a comment. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. I will make more videos of NBA 2K26, my career. And I will do I think I will make videos of Fortnite. And I will do Monday Night Raw live stream on Raw. Until next time, I'll see y'all later.